Hey everybody, Qroo here. Welcome to the channel. Things look a little bit different behind me because I'm on vacation, but that doesn't mean I can't keep teaching you Spanish. So today I'm going to be giving you just something, a little something for your Spanish toolbox. I'm going to be teaching you how to say someone insists on doing something and someone insists that someone else does something. Now, in Spanish lessons like this, what I'm doing is I'm breaking down the Spanish language into little bits like this so they're easy to remember as an English speaker, and then you can add them to things you've already learned to come up with your own sentences. That's how it works. Now, if you would like a more organized approach, a path to fluency, you should really check out the Qroo Spanish Crew. It's my paid site, but it's definitely worth it. I keep it affordable. Everything you're going to need is in there. And I really encourage you to read the reviews because they are fantastic. I'm very proud of the community, proud of all of it. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. I'll put links to the site and to the reviews in the description section. All right, so let's go ahead and kick this thing off. We're going to be talking about someone insists on doing something and someone insists on someone else doing something. Now, the most important thing here is we're going to learn our verb, insistir, which looks like insist, right? I mean, it should be easy to remember. But it has an IR ending, insistir, and then we're going to remember the preposition en. We're always going to think of this as insistir en. On our word list, when somebody says to insist, you're going to be like insistir en. Now you'll hear me say this a lot in my videos. It's very important when you learn Spanish verbs to learn the preposition that normally goes with it, especially if you didn't anticipate it. Now you may be like, I think I would anticipate the en, Paul, because I'm insisting on doing something. Perhaps in that. Let's look at that. So here's our first formula. Okay, if someone's insisting on doing something, insistir en plus infinitive. What's the infinitive? The unconjugated verb. We're just going to take it and drop it in. We love to do that because we don't want to have to think about conjugation. Now, we do have to think about conjugation on that first verb, right? So let's say I want to say, I insist on paying. You know, that would be really nice. I give you an I insist on paying the bill, the check, right? I'd have to conjugate it. Now, I could put yo on there, but I can often drop yo. So I'm just going to do the verb. Insisto, right? And then we have en pagar la cuenta. Insisto en pagar la cuenta. Pretty easy, popped it right in there. Let's talk about a third party, and we're going to let you do one. Maria insists on studying Spanish every day. Can you do that one? I bet you could do that one. This is normally when I would grab my coffee, but I did not bring a coffee down here. Are you ready? María insiste en estudiar español todos los días. Did you get that? You just dropped in estudiar, right? Did you conjugate the first one right? Piece of cake. All right, let's talk about our next formula. What if you want to say, Maria insists that her children study Spanish every day? You want to try that one? Well, let's just go ahead and try it. Why not? Here's the answer. María insiste en que sus hijos estudien español todos los días. And I slowed it down there so you could hear two important things. One is that en is still there. Did you leave it off? Did you she insists that, and generally, que is that. The en has to be there. I told you it was really important, didn't I? Generally speaking, when you learn a Spanish verb with a particular preposition, even if you're adding other clauses, it might start with que. That preposition is generally still going to be there. So our formula here is insistir en que plus subjunctive. What does plus subjunctive means? Well, it means the verb that comes after, whatever verb it is going to be conjugated in the subjunctive. So take a look at our example there, right? It's estudian. Look, en. Now, normally, estudiar is an AR verb. If I just said, her children study Spanish every day. Sus hijos estudian, right? En. Español todos los días. But here it's estudian. That's the subjunctive. It's not difficult to conjugate in the subjunctive. I have videos on it. Generally speaking, if it's an AR verb, you're suddenly going to have E endings, right? And if it's ER-IR, they're going to be like A. Doing it is not going to be difficult. You can learn it just like this. Knowing when to use it, that's a challenge because it doesn't mirror English. So we have to learn little constructions like this that I call subjunctive triggers. So when you have a subjunctive trigger, you just make it the subjunctive. You don't ask yourself why. You don't overthink it. You just do it. So your formula is insistir en que plus subjunctive. Let's play with this a little more. What if I was going to say, my wife insists that I eat less? I'm on vacation. I think I can eat what I want. But let's say my wife insists that I eat less. Mi esposa insiste en que coma menos. Now, let's look at that coma. That comes from comer, right? We talked about opposite endings. Not hard to conjugate into the subjunctive, just knowing, when to use it. We know to use it. Now, one thing I want to point out there, if it wasn't clear that I'm talking about I would definitely have to put yo in there, okay? Mi esposa insiste en que yo coma menos. And a lot of times we can drop yo in Spanish because the verb conjugation tells us it's yo, right? You've been told that forever. But with the subjunctive, that's not really the case. The first person yo and the third person singular, which could be he, she, it, and the formal you, usted, are identical. So if it's not clear from context, you're definitely going to have to put that yo in. Because I could say, you know what, my wife insists that, I don't know, she eats less, or her daughter eats less, or somebody, or her son eats less. It's not clear from that verb, so you may need the subject. Just pointing that out. All right, are you ready to try some? When I say try some, I'm really just going to give you two here because I have to go ride horses very, very shortly, so it's going to be a short video. Maria insists on speaking Spanish every day, and Maria insists that her children speak Spanish every day. Sun's coming back out. It's a good thing I got a hat, got a little sunscreen. Are you ready? Maria insists on speaking Spanish every day is María insiste en hablar español todos los días. You got that one, right? That's the easy formula. And the next one, Maria insists that her children speak Spanish every day. María insiste en que sus hijos hablen español todos los días. Did you get that? Hablen. If you did, big pat on the back. You're killing it. If you didn't get it and you're still struggling with this whole subjunctive thing, I have a playlist you can go through. I also have a book called Subjunctive Triggers that you can purchase. It's a PDF you can download right away. I love the PDFs because you can pop them into AIs to practice. You can, transfer things to your word list. In that book, I cover very common triggers in Spanish, so you can start to use them right away. It's just broken down into formulas with examples. Now, if you're an absolute beginner and you're like, Paul, I don't think I really need the subjunctive. I think I'll probably just try to work around it. Do I really need it? Yeah, you need it. In fact, if you take an organized Spanish course, usually, colleges and universities, things like that in the United States, the subjunctive doesn't show up till year 3. Most people only take 2 years, so they've never heard of it. When I teach, I start teaching people right away at the beginner level because the subjunctive is so intertwined in everything about Spanish that you can't speak Spanish well without it. So I always thought it was a big mistake to not even present it till like year 3. By that time, you're like, okay, I think I got a pretty good grasp of the language. I'm understanding it pretty well. I like it. And all of a sudden they go like, boom, here's this huge part of the language you've never even heard of. And now you're like, what was that? That's been there all along? You need the subjunctive. I'll give you one quick example before I go. Let's say you want to say, hey, I want you to take out the trash. Can't do that without the subjunctive. If I said, can you wash the car before it rains? Can't do that without the subjunctive. I hope you have a great day. Can't say that without the subjunctive. You need the subjunctive, folks, so just embrace it, all right? Break it down to little formulas like I just showed you and start using it with other things, that you've already learned. Think about how I can work in, our construction today to insist on doing something and play with it, all right? Well, I don't know how this weather's going to be. Sunny, cloudy, looks like rain over here. Hopefully, it's all going to work out. Thank you very much for watching the channel. If you enjoyed the video, do me a favor and give it a thumbs up. And until next time, hasta luego.